Will the debt ceiling destroy business funding in America? That is the question. That is the topic. Will a debt ceiling default destroy business funding as we know it? A lot of the content here we're getting off of a Wall Street Journal article, how a debt ceiling crisis could play out on Wall Street and across America. It says the U.S. government is edging dangerously close to being unable to make critical payments as Congress engages in debt ceiling brinksmanship. Failure to pay its bills on time could come as soon as June 1st. The U.S. government has never defaulted on Treasury bonds. Such an event would have the potential to roil the multi-trillion-dollar markets that underpin the global financial system. Well, very cute diction and words there. I appreciate the Wall Street Journal breaking that down. So you guys have been seeing this in the news. Ty, how much have you been seeing this in the news, this debt ceiling default thing, whether it's YouTube? I mean, because, the legacy news, like turning on Fox, NBC, MSNBC, CNN. I mean, I think fewer and fewer people are watching that. More and more people are tuning into other places. Where have you seen this? And I'm kind of curious, where do you consume news?
Yeah, you're seeing it pretty much everywhere now. And it's always just talks resumed, talks halted. Biden says they're getting closer. Talks halted, talks resumed. It's like, what the hell are they doing? But, I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm mostly, like I told you a few weeks ago, I'm off social media. So I used to get most of my news on Instagram. That's how I did it. I used to follow Fox News. I got a little upset about that whole Tucker Carlson thing. So I've shut that out. Right now it's just Twitter. And you're definitely seeing a lot of tweets about it. But it seems like it's mostly a lot of jokes, a lot of people just mocking our government and our system for still not being able to come to a conclusion and make a decision. But Twitter, and I read the local news every single day, oddly enough, Leo. KSL, yeah.
Okay. That's fascinating. I think without a doubt, there's been this transformation, this trend in the last 3-4 years especially, and I think things that are happening at Fox News and CNN have only accelerated this, where people more and more often are getting their news on social media, or specifically, instead of following these old TV shows, these channels, the CNNs, the Fox Newses, the MSNBCs, and most people are, 50, 60, 65 and older that are watching these. And so that younger generation that advertisers want to hit up, the 25 to 50 generation there, those guys and gals are consuming content online more and more, and so they're not going to the Fox Newses. And so where Fox News thought for sure, we'll just plug in another guy or gal like Tucker Carlson and do well, and that's not happening, and their ratings have been cut in half, and they're in massive, massive trouble because people are consuming them elsewhere. And so I've been watching a few different YouTube channels. There's one called Breaking Points that is very objective, both sides of the news. One guy worked for Tucker Carlson. The gal worked more liberal media, and they come together, and I like how they look at media. And there's obviously PBD podcasts. Megyn Kelly's awesome. But the bottom line is, with this debt ceiling, is if it did happen, how would that actually impact us as business owners, as business funders? How would that impact us? First off, it means all those U.S. Treasury bonds, they don't get paid back. So people invest trillions and trillions of dollars in Treasury bonds. Businesses, countries, 60% of the world reserve, money is put in by central banks from Europe to Asia, even China, is put into U.S. Treasury bonds. That's why the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency of the world, because people just buy Treasury bonds. They figure it's the safest place they can put their money to generate a return, even though it's been a very small return the past decade. Now it's a bigger return, right? Now the Fed fund rate is up to, I think, 5%. And so at 5%, that's not bad. Even though inflation is higher than 5% in a lot of countries, that still means you're kind of covering the cost of inflation. But if the Treasury bond has been the number one safest asset that everyone in the world has invested in over the last 100 years, if there's a default, well, now it's not the safest anymore, right? So the U.S. dollar probably goes down. U.S. Treasury bonds are invested in a lot less. It puts the global currency thing as the reserve currency at risk. And if you're a bank and all of a sudden the economy's weakened and all these negative things can happen, they might pull back lending to businesses, to consumers significantly, which would slow everything down. So it would be pretty terrible. But how often, I mean, you're a young guy, what are you, 31, just turned 31, right? Like, how often have we heard about this damn debt ceiling? Isn't it like every year that it seems like we're, debt ceiling again?
Yeah, and miraculously, it's always sorted out right at the end. Like, I don't get it. It's almost like it's a doom and gloom, clickbait, get all
totally
the news going. It ticks me off. But yeah, they're gonna figure it out. If they don't, yeah, lending will be disrupted drastically. Yeah. Interest rates will go up. Bank runs could occur. They're gonna figure it out.
They will. And if you're President Biden, you don't want to be the first president ever to, be the president when a default happened. And, same with Congress. It's never happened. So most likely scenario is that the last minute an agreement is reached because neither side wants to look terrible. But the bottom line is, and the Republicans aren't great at this either, is Republicans are going in, McCarthy saying we want to cut spending, and we're not making a deal until we decide to balance the budget, which that would be smart. Who can disagree with balancing the budget? And if you just think you can kick the can down the road forever and our economy is going to be okay, you're lying to yourself. It's like basically, you take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt and you make $100,000 a year. Well, eventually that's going to catch up to you and it's going to kick you in the ass, and you just can't continue to make the minimum payment forever. Eventually you're going to have a medical emergency, a job loss, and you're going to default on all that credit card debt if you just took it out for foolish reasons instead of, going into a business, investing it in smart things. If you were just taking it out to go on vacations, buy clothes, have an expensive car, you're going to get in trouble. And that's what our economy's been doing. We're just like, I just put on the card, just ask for a credit limit increase. Don't worry. Just keep doing that forever. And eventually, it's going to blow up in your face. And that's where we're at as a country.
Maybe we need to get some people in politics that are actually going to have to deal with the repercussions, because all of our politicians are so damn old that they're not going to be the ones that even have to deal with it. Maybe that's why they don't give a shit where we're at.
Yeah, it's like so many are in their 70s, their 80s. Hell, Biden's 82, going to be 86 if he gets reelected here. Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell looks like a frickin' mummy out there. So I don't give a damn if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Mitch McConnell's Republican. I think he should be kicked out of office. Guys, vote for younger people. We've had enough of the old people making decisions. We saw how that worked out the last 3 years. Not so good when old people are making all the decisions. So that's my 2 cents on elections moving forward.